So, I'm writing this the day after the tragic news about Rooster Teeth shutting down, and I'm recording it a few days later. Now, this is going to be a different type of episode today because, like the rest of the RT community, I'm still processing the news, and I just want to stop and say I really want to thank Rooster Teeth. Yeah, they've had their problems and controversies over the years, but for many, Rooster Teeth was the internet company. They were the model. A small company created by a handful of passionate creators that skyrocketed into a massive company, and 21 years is nothing to scoff at. What they did is a real marvel, and no one could ever deny that. The company changed many lives, and to be honest, I wouldn't be here today without them. The D&D channel my friends and I run only started because I watched their Heroes and Halfwits series. That's what got me into D&D, otherwise I would have had no interest. They are the reason why I got into YouTube, wanting to have my own Let's Play channel. And while that failed, even though I want to get back to it eventually, they, alongside a few other channels that have also closed shop, pushed me to want to become a creator. Of course, they aren't the only ones. I don't talk about the inspirations that put me on the path to create my videos because, for the most part, those channels have all had their fair share of drama. But cards on the table, because I'm being introspective, the other main channels that drove me to content creation are, well, for the Let's Plays, Venturian Tale. If you know the controversy, it's hard to reconcile with that part of me that loved those videos when I was a kid, and the fact that they are the reason I got into YouTube beyond watching old TV shows. The reviewers, well, it should be no surprise I watched The Nostalgia Critic religiously. He was funny, even though those videos I'm sure don't hold up today were still a huge part of my past. Then there's the mysterious Mr. Enter, which I managed to watch rise and fall as I found him back when he was still uploading on a consistent basis. Of course, I watched many other content creators, Markiplier, Jacksepsky, other people I haven't uploaded in years like the Watcher of the 2000s. I'm sure a name no one's heard of, but the thing is, back then no one got a bigger laugh out of teenage me like Rooster Teeth could. I didn't go far beyond RT other than Achievement Hunter. I watched Kinda Funny for a few years and Screw Attack before they became just Death Battle. But no matter what, I always came back to RT and AH, because they were making consistent content with fun people, even if they added a cast member here or there I wasn't a fan of. For me, I've been around the RT community for about 12 years. I even had the one and only comment I ever made on one of their videos deleted. But I started with Rage Quit. You know, the old series Michael would make yelling at video games. It was fun. Soon enough, however, I would be drawn into Red vs. Blue. Now, I was aware of RVB, my older brother founded back in the early days of YouTube, though I wouldn't watch it at the time. So I wouldn't get into the series until high school back in 2012. I think season 11 had just ended. I remember downloading every episode one at a time onto my tablet so I could watch them after school. I fell in love with comedy, the characters, and eventually the storytelling. I remember watching the end of season 13, and the end of Chorus, what was supposed to be the series finale, wondering how they could follow the season up, and the news of the anthology season. I remember thinking, that's awesome, that's a great idea so they can have another season to figure out what to do next. I remember how when I first watched the 15th episode of season 14, it barely registered on me. If you haven't seen Red vs. Blue, then stop and go watch it because I'm about to get into spoilers. There's some context needed.
Hello. My name is Caboose.
Early into season 1, the character Caboose, while driving a tank, accidentally kills his teammate Church. He ends up coming back because he was actually an AI, and later into the show, around the time we learn that Church is an AI, he dies again and is rebuilt by Caboose from a fragment AI unit by the name of Epsilon, which was the memory fragment from Church the Alpha. At the end of season 13, Epsilon Church sacrifices himself, dismantling his very being to give his friends a chance at survival, and he dies for the last time. It is an incredibly powerful moment in the story, and I am not doing it justice here, but that's all you need to know for this episode. Caboose's Guide to Making Friends opens with Caboose introducing himself and telling us about his friends. He then talks about how to make friends, and what kind of materials makes the best type of friends.
Cotton is most people's favorite friend material, mainly because it is soft.
He talks about how great it is to have friends that can listen to you, or to have friends that can push you out of your comfort zone, and how some will always be there for you. He also talks about how you should be there for them when they need it. He then talks about having a best friend before the episode drops the upbeat tone.
Sometimes you will lose a friend. Sometimes Even your best friend.
Sometimes you lose a friend, and things end, but life goes on. I've always found that to be a beautiful sentiment. I said the Caboose's Guide to Making Friends barely registered on me when it first aired, and that's because I had never lost a friend. So it didn't really hit me how powerful this episode is. It's funny, unique, and a perfect follow-up after Season 13's ending. It's hopeful, and that's something that a lot of people need. This episode didn't hit me quite right until a few years later when one of my friends died in a motorcycle crash. I hadn't seen him in a while, but it still sucked. He was still so young. The episode after you feel a loss of someone definitely hits differently, and that's one of the reasons why this is my favorite episode of Red vs. Blue. It's not the best written episode, or even the funniest one. It's just a poignant one. During this time, with the impending closure of Rooster Teeth, a lot of people are feeling the loss. So many have made friends or had their lives changed. Several people have met their spouse because of Rooster Teeth. But eventually, everything comes to an end. It's a sad reality that we unfortunately have to face. It especially hurts that 2024 has been one creator retiring after another, only for this to happen seemingly out of nowhere. But that's the thing. Even though this chapter in All Our Lives is closing, it's not over yet. There's a few new Camp episodes coming out, and even one last season of Red vs. Blue. And even if I haven't been watching the shows as often the last few years, I am looking forward to see what comes next in these creators' lives, even if I might not be there to see it. I feel weird asking this, but if you like this video, please subscribe and like the video. It helps with the channel, and I have another script ready to go that I'll be recording soon enough while I work on a massive project that you won't want to miss.
Well, the thing most people forget about anyways is that no matter how many friends you do lose, you can always make more. And that's pretty neat.